I once had a patient named Mark, 42-year-old. He said, "Doc, I'm just a little bit overweight, but I don't have diabetes." But his lab work said otherwise. His A1C was 6.7, his fasting insulin through the roof. 6 months later, he was on insulin injections. What if I told you that obesity and diabetes are not separate diseases, but two ends of the same fuse? And that fuse is burning quietly in millions and millions and millions of people right now, and maybe even inside you. Stay with me, because in this video we will break down the science, the blood tests, and the warning signs, and the tools to reverse it. From exercise to diet to GLP-1s and beyond. Let's begin with the big picture. Right now, 42% of the American adults are obese, and 1 in 10 has type 2 diabetes. But here is the real shocker. 9 out of 10 with type 2 diabetes are either overweight or obese. Obesity is not just about appearance. It is a metabolic state that changes how every cell in your body responds to insulin. Fat cells, especially deep inside you in your belly fat, the visceral fat, act like an endocrine glands. They release inflammatory molecules like TNF-alpha and interleukin-6 that interfere with insulin signaling. So your pancreas keeps producing more and more and more insulin to overcome that resistance, until one day it can't. That's when blood sugar climbs and you are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. This process starts silently, sometimes 10 to 15 years before your blood sugar even becomes abnormal. That's why obesity and diabetes are called metabolic twins. So the question is, how would you know if you're already on that path? Here are subtle red flags of insulin resistance. You feel sleepy after eating, especially carbs. You crave sugar or snacks even after a full meals. You gain weight mostly around your waist. You wake up tired and exhausted after a full night of sleep. You notice dark patches in your neck and underarm called acanthosis nigricans. And you often feel foggy, irritable, or low energy in the afternoon. And for men, reduced testosterone. And for women, irregular periods or PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. These are not random. They are your body's warning lights. By the time you are diagnosed with diabetes, your insulin resistance may have been building up for a decade. Here's what I check for in patients who want to know where they stand. Number 1, fasting blood glucose. Normal, under 100. If it's between 100 to 125, that means prediabetes. Above 126 or above, that means diabetes. Number 2, hemoglobin A1C. This reflects your average sugar over the last 3 months. 5.7 to 6.4, that's prediabetes. 6.5 and above, that's diabetes. Number 3 is fasting insulin level. That's the most underused test. If it's above 10, you're likely insulin resistant, even if your blood sugar is normal. Number 4, HOMA-IR, homeostatic model assessment. That formula that combines fasting, glucose, and insulin to measure insulin resistance. Ideally is under 2. Number 5 is lipid profile. High triglycerides and low HDL are early warning signs. Triglyceride over HDL ratio above 3 predicts insulin resistance. Number 6 is liver enzymes, ALT and AST. Mild elevation means fatty liver, which often develops alongside insulin resistance. Number 7 is high sensitivity CRP, marker of inflammation. Obesity increases this inflammation and is linked to both heart disease and diabetes. I throw a lot of numbers at you. These numbers are not just digits on a report. They are your body's story in ink. Let's get under the hood. In insulin resistance, your muscles, liver, and fat cells stop responding properly to insulin. Your pancreas compensates that by producing more and more and more insulin. And this high insulin locks fat inside your fat cells. That's why it becomes harder and harder to lose weight. Your own hormones are fighting against you. And also, this high insulin triggers hunger. It tells your brain that you are fasting. That's why you eat more, you crave more sugar, and you gain more weight. It is a vicious cycle. Meanwhile, sugar builds up in your bloodstream and starts damaging small vessels or capillaries in your eyes, in your kidneys, in your nerves, and heart. So you are not winning here. And this is a problem that is very common with patients who are having diabetes that you don't know of. Now, here's where it gets hopeful. Multiple studies show that losing just 5 to 7% of your body weight, that's about 10 to 15 pounds in a 200-pound person, cuts your risk of developing diabetes by almost 60%, 60. If you lose 10 to 15%, your risk drops even dramatically. And every additional pound lost helps your insulin levels to drop and your cells start listening to insulin again. Exercise is the closest thing we have to an anti-diabetic pill. And here's why. When you move your muscles, even just walking, they can take in glucose without needing insulin. How crazy is that? That means low blood sugar instantly and better insulin sensitivity over time. I would like you to start small. Maybe 20 minutes of brisk walking after meals. Maybe 2 to 3 days a week of resistance training. Maybe climb stairs instead of taking the elevator. Anything can help. Every bit counts. Remember, the more muscle you have, the more glucose you burn at rest. Forget extreme diets. Focus on metabolic healing foods like high fiber, like vegetables, beans, and whole grains. Lean proteins like fish, chicken, eggs, and tofu. Healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and nuts. And please cut down on added sugars and refined carbs. Mediterranean or DASH style eating pattern can lower your A1C naturally. Now let's talk about the new frontier. Yes, GLP-1 receptor agonists like semaglutide, which is Ozempic or Wegovy, and tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro or Zepbound. They mimic a natural gut hormone, incretins, that slows digestion and signals fullness. In clinical trials, average weight loss reached between 15 to 20%, and many patients saw their A1C drop from 9 to around 6. They also help protect the heart and the kidneys. But they are tools, not magic. They are tools, not magic. If you stop them without changing your lifestyle habits, most of the weight returns. So think of them as temporary training wheels for your metabolism. As you lose weight and improve habits, your labs will tell the story, right? Fasting glucose drops first. And then the fasting insulin. What about the A1C? Improves in 2 to 3 months. Triglycerides fall, your HDL rise, and liver enzymes normalize. Your energy returns, your mood lifts, your cravings fade. That's when you know you have changed your internal chemistry forever. Obesity and diabetes are not moral failures. They are metabolic traps. But the good news is you can rewire your biology. Your body wants to heal. It just needs the right environment. As I told you, start with one baby step, one walk, one meal with real food, and get your blood work checked not only once but regularly. You will see your progress written in your numbers. Because behind every A1C, every triglyceride, and every pound you lose, there's a person fighting for their health, which is you. So fight smart, not hard. I'm Dr. Nony, and this is your Power Lab, where we turn science into strength. Please subscribe and share, and let's keep building this healthier you, one video at a time. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.